And I want to take you on a little bit of a round-the-world tour to explain formgiving, which is the Danish word for architecture. And as you just heard, that means giving form to the future, giving forward to that which is not yet there. And it is also the idea that we have one planet of resources, and we need to live within the planetary boundaries of one planet Earth. And many places right now are living well beyond those means. This is a factory to build furniture in Norway. And the client said to us, I want to design the cleanest, the most transparent, the most open factory in the world. The other idea was to cut the least amount of trees on this site, and that every tree that was cut would actually be integrated into the construction of the project. So how could we create a safe environment, a transparent and a green one? So we looked at the different forms of production. There's the purchasing of the materials, there is the fabrication, there's the assembly, and then there's the shipping. So each one of those programs became an arm, and that is what created the plus. The beauty of the plus is that you can lengthen any of those bars as you grow the company. So we built the entire building out of the wood that is around the site and is also in the furniture. So this is a very low carbon emission building. Toyota-san here with Bjarke asked us to help design a future city where we had typical streets, and we divide the typical streets from cars, sidewalks, and bicycle paths. And we are building a laboratory of residential projects and laboratories where Toyota is actually looking at what are the future technologies. They're going from becoming an automobile manufacturer to a city-wide technology provider. And so we're designing a whole kind of research campus with them and for them, where they're able to, within each of the buildings, which are dedicated to, again, low carbon materials, how can you take all of this ecosystem of interests and verticals and actually overlay them to actually create the townships and the ideas for the next and for the future. The project was presented in 2020, right 2 months before COVID struck. The groundbreaking of the project was 1 year later, even though we were all in our COVID kind of scenarios. Here's how we envisioned the project initially. And this is the first phase, is about 12 buildings. And I'm very happy to say the construction is quite far along. Now we're going to take another look at a very different type of construction. This is 3D printing, and we are printing homes, single-family homes, for 50% of the cost of a typical home construction. What's very interesting is that when we started this, building the 100 homes, it took about 45 days from the initial print, or from the initial arrival of the printer to the turnkey person able to move in, 45 days. Since the 100th home was printed, that was brought down to 15 days, 1-5. So in 15 days, the printer arrives on the site and can literally print one of these homes and the person can move in. Godrej Mindfulness City, it was actually presented in October. I was there in Bhutan at the Innovation Forum, where we presented the basic concepts of the project. It is both homes and places to work. If you don't know where Bhutan is, I think you do. It is sandwiched between, of course, India and China. So when you consider these two incredible populous areas, it is a little bit kind of unknown but it is absolutely in the center of it all. So you have a lot of mountains and very, very few flat areas. Ilefu Mindfulness City is everything you see there in the white. So it's a very large area with tigers and elephants and a lot of biodiversity within that region. The sort of biodiversity movement is along those water channels. And so we created buffers. And then we create smaller areas for, again, for things to move through the plant. And we then terrace these areas to make them habitable and growable. And because we respect the rivers, we're basically allowing the water to move where it wants to move. And we're building bridges as connective tissue across those water channels. And that is, I think, the way that we approach a lot of our designs. You heard the term hedonistic sustainability. Sustainability is not only about doing things with less, because you can't bring everybody along if all you're talking about is doing less. What you can do is, if you say that you're going to create a more enjoyable way of life, a higher quality of life, you can bring everyone along. And that's what we're trying to show here.